Hey guys, welcome back to a new episode of Dev Drawer. Today we're going to be continuing in the process of using Sass to create our own Bootstrap framework. So just kind of recap what we did last time. We created our column structure here. We also created our buttons and our text links using Sass, so we didn't have to rewrite all the code for each one of these. And if we can go over here and see, inside of our links, we have these each statements, and then we have the mix-ins and everything to create our column classes so that it actually generates a style sheet that's fairly long. So this one has 700 lines of code, whereas our actual Sass sheet only has 249. So this is kind of, if you remember from the previous video, it's just a really quick way to be able to generate some, use some functionality inside of your Sass in order to generate dynamic content for your style sheet. So thank you for joining me. This week has been a rather productive week for me on YouTube, and I just wanted to say thanks for being a subscriber. And if you're not a subscriber yet, definitely subscribe to this channel if you like this kind of video. I do them once a week. Currently have about 42 or 43 videos that you can take a look at on my channel. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. There's a few key elements that you can take away from creating your own Bootstrap, and you can kind of make it your own, do whatever you want to do with it. But for my purposes specifically, there's certain things that I like to use from Bootstrap. For example, the image functionality, the table functionality, some card functionality, as well as like the alerts. So what we're going to do in this video is kind of come up with those that functionality inside of our own style sheet. So let's get started with doing an alert system. So we're going to do the alerts, and these are going to be simplified alerts. I don't usually use the JavaScript or the JavaScript from Bootstrap in order to generate the alerts. I usually just kind of display them whenever a page is updated or something like that. So you can throw in the JavaScript if you want to, but this tutorial is not going to go over that part of it. We're just going to be doing display only purposes. So let's start creating our each loop in order to generate that for us. So let's come over here. We're going to do @each type, because if you remember from the very top, we have our style types here because we want to have all of these available to us as an alert. So we're going to be using that inside of these alerts here. So we're going to pass type and then class, or we're going to be pulling type and class from the style type. So style type, and then inside of this we're going to create just a simple alert class. So we're going to do .alert, and then we're going to pass in, no, that's not what I want to do, .alert dash hash, and then we're going to do the open curly brackets, and we're going to pass type. So that's going to give us an alert box for each one of these different types. So then we can do background dash color, and we're just going to make this be class. And then we're going to do color, and my color preferences on this is if it is a dark pop-up box, we're just going to do like a white. So we're just going to do RGBA here. So RGBA 255, 255, 255, and then we're going to make it fully not transparent, so non-transparent. And then we're going to do border, and then we're just going to make this 2 pixel solid, darken, and we're going to pass that class again, and we're just going to say 15% for here. And then let's go ahead and throw a border radius on it, and make this 5 pixels. With a margin of 1 rem 0, just to kind of give it a little bit of padding on the top, or a margin on the top and the bottom. And then we also want to do padding of 1 rem, so it has padding throughout the entire thing. And then let's do opacity. Let's just set it to 0.85 for now. And again, this is all personal preference for me, so you don't necessarily have to do it this way. This is just the way that I do it. And now let's create a span tag inside of it. Then we're going to do font, weight, bold. So that should give us our generic classes for the alert. So if we go over to our index.html, I'm going to copy over the alerts that I have previously done. And again, I'll show you the code before I continue with it. But we got our buttons, our links. Let's just add in another section here, and we're going to call it alerts. And then I'm just going to paste in some code. So as you can see here, I have an alert, and then the class of alert-primary, alert-secondary. So in our browser, refresh this, we can see that we have the alerts that we want now. And if you remember, we created this alert span inside of our SCSS just to make it bold so that we can control, like, this could be like the title of this section. And then you can see all of the different alert types. One thing I don't like about it is obviously the light. We don't want to have white text there, the same way we did with the other parts of it. So we're going to come in here and we're going to create a if statement again. So we're going to do if type equals -light, and then we're just going to change the color of it. So let's do .alert hash curly $type, and then we're going to do color, and we're just going to make it the same color as the body font. Alright, so let's see what that looks like over here. So let's refresh this. What did I do here? Oh, alert dash type. And refresh. Why is it not doing it? Let's see what it's trying to pull across for the body type color. So that's muted. This is light, so alert dash light. So that should be right. Nope. Not looking for a dash light. There we go. Alright, so it's type equals light, not dash light. And then you have your alert dash here, which has the dash in it there. That's why it wasn't working there. And I guess we could probably do this same thing. Let's do it for the muted type as well. So we're going to do muted here. That way it can be kind of black. Yeah, I guess that'll be fine. So I think that'll be fine. But the rest of them look pretty good with the color scheme that they have. Okay, so we have our alerts, links, buttons, and our columns. So let's get into, I think I want to do images next. So let's come down here and add a comment tag for images. And then down below it, first thing we want to do is create the image fluid class. So we're going to do image fluid, and then this is going to be a max width of 100%, and then we're going to do height auto. So this will kind of give us that that max image size that we want, where it contains itself inside of the columns that we put it into. And I don't think there's going to be any math to do with this one. We're just going to create the classes themselves. So let's do the first one of image thumb, and this is the image where they have like a border and a little bit of padding around it. And then we're going to do max width, and the reason why we're going to do our max width here, we're going to use a calculation, and the reason being is that we're going to have padding on it. So we want to make sure that that padding, it doesn't make it where the image overlaps the column that we're in. So we're going to do a max width of calculate, so CALC, and then we're going to do 100%, which is what it's normally going to be, minus 0.55 REM, because we're going to add padding around it as well. So we're going to do padding of 0.25 REM, and then that should give us the padding that we want, where it uses the max width and it doesn't overcompensate for it. And then let's go ahead and do background color of let's just use the white that we've declared at the top, and then we're going to do a border and do 1 pixel solid, and then we're going to use the light for that one. And then they also have a border radius around it. You don't have to do the border radius, but I'm just going to keep up with the Bootstrap theming. Okay, so this is going to display right below this, so let's go ahead and go down after this and add in another HR and then we're going to do h2 images. And for this, I'm going to once again just kind of copy some images that I've already created. So let me find that in my other code. And I'm going to be using placeholder.com for the images. So I'm just going to copy the URL here, and I'm going to put them in a column. So we're going to do div class row, div class column -2, and we're just going to make it text center. And then we're going to do image source, and it's going to be that placeholder image that I am using, so 250, and then we're going to do class image fluid. And I think, let me just go ahead and do a small, and just put standard underneath it so we can distinguish what they are. Alright, so now we have our image. It's 250 by 250. That's what we want it to be. So now we can take this exact same structure that we have here, so this entire column structure, we can take it and move it down, and then over here for our image fluid, we're also going to do image thumb, and then that should give us that thumbnail look. So it has that little white border around it. We can go ahead and kind of just make the rest of our columns that we're going to want, or our images and our columns that we're going to want, because they're all going to be pretty much the same thing. It's just going to have different classes on them. So let's take the first one. I'm just going to copy it, and we're going to do one for rounded corners, or around it itself, so like a circle. And then we're going to do another one for rounded corners, and then I also want to throw in another class just for like a left round and a right round, which isn't something that Bootstrap does. So we'll kind of use that. So let's do this one as a thumbnail, and then we can take this one. This one's going to be our rounded, and then we're going to do rounded corners. Then let's do a left round, and we're going to use the classes of T or B, so for top or bottom. And then we can do another one down here for a right round, and then T or B for top or bottom. Okay, so let's go ahead and just add the classes, then we'll go into the style sheet and modify them. So with this one is going to be image-rounded. And then we're going to have another one that's going to be image-rounded-corner. And then that's going to round all of the corners. But we also want to have the one that has like a left round. So we're going to do image-rounded-corner. Let's do like left top. And then we can also come down here and do the same thing. So image rounded corner, and we're going to do the right bottom. Okay, so now we just got to create the classes for all of these. So if we go back to our SCSS, we can create the next class for the rounded. So let's do image-rounded, and then inside of this we're just going to give it a border radius of 50%. So border radius 50%, and then we can do image-rounded-corner, and then we're just going to have this one is just going to have a border radius of 5%. So border radius of 5%. So that'll give us a subtle round. And if we look at our CSS now, we have the fully rounded and then the subtle round here. So now we want to have it where these, it just rounds one corner. I think this one's going to be the right bottom, and this one's going to be the top left. So we can go ahead and just create those classes to round those specific sides. So let me just copy this for now. We're going to do image rounded corner dash left top, and it's going to be, let's do a 25% 0 0 0, so it only rounds that one. And now we're going to do the same thing for left bottom. So instead of LT, we're going to do LB, and then we're going to reverse this and make this 25%. And then let's copy it down one more time, and then this one's going to be a right top, and it's going to be 0, 25%, 0, 0 to do that right top corner. And then this one is going to be right bottom, and it's going to be 0, 0, 25%, 0. So that should give us all of the rounded corners that we're looking for. And we can go in there and change this class where it could be right top and it would just round this one, or we could do both of them at the same time. Actually, I don't think we could do both of them at the same time because it would overwrite what's currently here. So if you wanted to do multiple corners, you can just set like an and class, where if it has LT on it, it would round just the border top, or border dash top dash left, and then set up the border radius for that. For right now, we're just going to declare those classes. Let's see. We also want to do another one as an image block, just because I know Bootstrap uses image block, and that's just going to make it where the image goes across the entire screen or the entire section that it's in, and then all the content comes below it. So we're going to do margin 0 auto, and then we're just going to display block here. And for this, we can demonstrate this by just creating another row down here. So let's do div class row, and then div class column text center, which you don't necessarily need, but I'm just going to add it on there anyway. And then we can do, let's do a large image. So I'm going to take this image, I'm going to copy it over, and instead of doing 250 by 250, let's do, actually, you know what, that's fine. Let's just do 250 by 250, and then it's just going to center it in the screen for us. So let's do image block, and small center align, just so we know what it is. And I think that should be it for that. So if we scroll back down, we can see here that it is 250. It's the same size as these images, just these are inside, they're contained inside of the columns that we put them in. So this one is not, so it's doing the full size image, but it is center aligned inside of this row in this column. Okay, so now we have our images, we have our alerts. Let's do some cards. I like the cards. I like to do them differently, but I like the cards that Bootstrap has. So let's do a card. So cards, and the card is like a it's just a general purpose, like a modal window, but not really a modal that's on top of everything else. It's just a section that you can distinguish between anything else. So let's do card, and we're going to do background dash color, and we're going to make it our white color. We're going to put a border, and it's going to be 1 pixel solid, and we're just going to use the muted color. And let's give it a padding of 1 rem, put a border radius 5 pixels, and then let's also create another class for the card title. So we're going to do ampersand dot card title, and that way if it's inside of this card and it has a card title, we can give it a bold look. And then we're going to do font family, and we're going to make this a secondary font family. So let's do secondary font. We're going to do our font size of 1.5 rem, so it's not huge, but it's bigger than the rest of the text. And then let's do a margin of 1 rem 0. So it has some spacing above it and below it. So in order to add the card so we can actually view it, let's come over here and create another horizontal row and another H2. We're going to say cards, and then right below that, let's do div class equals card. We're going to put a div class card title, and inside of this, let's just do card title. And then we can have some dummy text underneath it. I'm just going to paste some lorem ipsum inside of it. Alright, and now let's scroll down here, and this is what our card looks like. So, very simplistic card. Let me see, what else do they normally have in Bootstrap that I may be missing. So we got our columns. Oh, the tables. Okay, so the tables comes next. So let's create our table structure now. So let's go down here, create another section for tables, and break that down. And we're going to do just a basic table class. And then inside of this class, we're going to do border dash collapse equals collapse. That way it doesn't have its own borders around it. And then we're going to set the width to 100%. So anytime someone uses that table, it'll be 100%. And then we also want to do some styling for our T head. The header inside of that. And let's do vertical align bottom, so it aligns with the bottom of it inside of the columns. Text align left. And then let's give it a font weight of 900. And this needs to be text align. So while we're building that, I'm going to go ahead and copy over some text that I have for a standard table. So, all right, let's come down here and do an HR. Again, let's do H2 tables. And this is just going to give us a generic table that we can look at. So it's just a generic table, no real formatting on it. We need to have our THs inside it. Or why is that left aligned? I'll figure that out in a second. It's probably something we haven't written yet. But essentially, this is giving us a generic table. So what we want to have now is, let's do the TDs so they're formatted correctly. So we're going to do TD, and then let's do TH. So if it's not inside the head and it's a TD or a TH, which is here, so we want to have this dark as well, whereas these are not dark. But we're going to do, let's do some padding of 0.75 rem. Let's do a vertical align top. Then we're going to do border dash top 1 pixel solid, and let's make it muted. And then we're going to do text. So text align left. Alright, so now if we go back over here, there it is. That looks a lot better, a lot cleaner than it did look. And that's just our generic table. So let's create another table. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to copy our entire table structure. And I'm going to create another table. I'm just going to add a break tag in between them. And then this table, let's say we want to have a bordered table as well. So let's do bordered. And then right now it's going to look the same, but what we want to have is a border that goes around it. So let's create that style in order to control the bordered table as well. So let's come down here. We're going to do ampersand dot bordered TD, and then we're also going to do an ampersand dot bordered TH or THTD. That's fine. And then we're going to add a border of 1 pixel solid, and let's just make it the muted variable. Alright, so let's see how that looks now. Okay, so now we have our THs and our we have all of our THs are bordered. So let's see, I want to do another one where maybe there's a border that's going around it. So how do I do that? Let me look. Why is this? TDTH. I did TH twice. There we go. That's what I was looking for. So I did TH twice. So if you caught that, go ahead and change that to TD. Okay, so let's create another table. We're going to copy this one again, and I want to have a dark table. So these are just the generic light tables. We might actually want to, because right now we don't have a dark background, so it makes it where they blend in. So let's come over to our styles, and we're going to put a background color of white. There we go. All right, so that looks a little bit better. Okay. All right, so go back into our index.html, and for this table bordered that we just copied, we are going to now change this to table dark, and then we're going to create that style for table dark. All right, so let's create and dark, and then the background color is going to be our dark variable. The color is going to be our white variable. And then we want to also do a style. If it is table dark, we want to do the TD and the TH, and we're going to make it where it has a border dash top 1 pixel solid RGBA, and we're just going to make it like a semi-transparent white. So let's do 0.5. Okay. And then if it, right now this should cover the generic dark where it looks like this. I think that looks pretty clean. But what happens if we want to have a bordered table that's also dark? So we need to also create a table dark with the bordered functionality. So let's do, I'm just going to copy this and we're going to bring it down to here. Tab over, and in the border we're going to make it 1 pixel solid, but instead of doing muted, we're going to do this RGBA again. So RGBA 255, and this is going to give us that semi-transparent white look. Alright, so let's also do for the header for the darks. So let's do and th orthead dark, and then we're going to do background dash color, and we're going to make it dark, and the color is going to be white. Okay, let's go ahead and throw in another one just in case they want to have a light header with it. So let's copy this, and we're going to do light, and then the background color is going to be light, and the text color is going to be the body color. Okay, so now we go back over here. We don't have where that's displaying, so let's create that display, and then we can kind of see how that looks. So we got our table dark, so let's create table dark bordered. So let me copy this table again, add a little break tag, and then for the table dark we're going to add bordered behind it. Now we scroll down and we can see that now we have a dark table that's bordered just like the light table is. Now let's just say we want to have the table header being the only thing that's dark. So we're going to copy this table again, and let's do a break tag, and we're going to have just a table, but then the T head is going to be class dark. So now if we come back over here, scroll down, we have a table with a dark header and light text. Alright, so let's do the same thing with the light. So let's copy, I'm going to do the break tag all the way down to the table, and then we're going to change this from table dark to table light, and save that. Now scroll back down, we have the light table now. Okay, so we have our column structure, we have our buttons, we have our links, we have alerts, image functionality, cards, and our tables. So let's see, what else can we throw into it? I'm just looking through some of my normal use cases for it. I think that's about it. Well, okay, so we reached the end of this tutorial. You should be able to create your own Bootstrap using Sass now. Maybe next week, I think I'm going to go in, and I don't like the way the Sass file right now is a little bit bigger than it normally is. So I think next week I'm going to show you how to do some include files to optimize the Sass a little bit. But for now, I think that's going to do it for this tutorial. Thanks for watching, and I will talk to you later.